A foundation for building our own lighthouses was learning about the history and purpose of lighthouses. Lighthouses have been in use for hundreds of years. Way back when, in Alexandria, Egypt, the first lighthouse was constructed out of stone and lighted with a large open fire. Even before this man-made structure, sailors had used glowing volcanoes as their guiding light. Ever since this simple design, lighthouses have advanced dramatically. The United States adopted the lighthouse in 1716 and built the first one in Boston. This started a long chain of improvements made upon lighthouses. Cannons were used as fog signals, then bells were used as fog signals, and a lens was developed to create a spotlight. The federal government became involved and ordered mass amounts of lighthouses to be constructed along major waterways and ports. By 1831, gas was used to power lighthouses instead of animal lard, and stone was used instead of wood. Almost 200 years later, lighthouses contained electricity and radios. The Coast Guard organization was developed for protection, search and rescue, and organization of water transportation. Over time, new designs were necessary in order to install lighthouses in difficult locations. For example, screw-pile lighthouses were placed in water above shoals and rocks for better viewpoints. Texas tower lighthouses were offshore lighthouses designed for oil rigs and other drilling sites. These were necessary to protect ships from crashing or getting lost. The main parts of a lighthouse remained relatively similar. The light, the tower, and the lens are the three main parts that have remained the same over the years. Today, main parts of a lighthouse include a ball vent, a lightning rod, glass windows, and the electric room, which contains panels for controlling the light. For our project, in order to engineer a successful lighthouse, there were key skills necessary. We needed to learn to work together and to play off of each other's strengths. By teaching each other new skills, we were able to work together in an efficient way in order to complete our lighthouses.
For our base, we measured a large piece of wood about 27 inches on each side and marked it with a pencil. Then we clamped it onto a piece of wood on a sawhorse and cut it with the jigsaw. To make the triangles on the side, we made 2-inch marks along the perimeter and then 2-inch diagonals at each mark. After drawing the triangles, we cut them out with the jigsaw. We painted the base blue to make it look like water and spritzed on some green spray paint to make it look like algae. For our lighthouse, we bought a 10-foot pipe and cut it to 3 feet. The ends were smoothed out using a sander. We made 8 windows in a spiral pattern with a Sharpie and drilled holes into opposite corners to make a plunge cut with a jigsaw. The windows were sanded with a sander drill bit. We covered the entire lighthouse in paper mache and cut out the windows that covered by the paper mache. After it dried, we painted the lighthouse a tan color from black, white, and peach paint. After the base and the lighthouse were complete, we attached the lighthouse to the base with corner brackets. We measured out equal distances between 4 points in the lighthouse and screwed it in with 8 half-inch screws. For our ship, we cut off the top and bottom of a cardboard box and bent it to look like a ship. We cut a hole in front of the ship with a jigsaw blade so that we could see inside. The ship was hot glued into place and then covered with wood-patterned wrapping paper. After, the wrapping paper was lightly painted brown. We saved the top and bottom of the box and covered that with wrapping paper to make it look like broken pieces of the ship. After painting those brown, we hot glued them to the top of the ship. Using a lamp kit, we made the light bulb socket. We connected the wires in this kit to the socket and secured them with screws. After putting the pieces of the socket together, we screwed the light bulb in. We drilled a hole into the middle of a jar lid so that the socket could balance on top while the wires were strung through the bottom. We drilled 4 equally spaced holes around the top of the lighthouse. Then we drilled in machine screws that were secured with a nut. After, the jar lid was balanced on top of the screws. We used hot glue and Gorilla Glue to secure the cover in place. Lastly, to decorate, we placed small sections of rubber cement and sand on the base. Then we glued fake seaweed and fake moss onto random spots on the base, the lighthouse, and the ship. We also took small plastic figurines and used wire to tie them to the lighthouse and hot glue to secure them. Then we cut out a light blue paper and used wire and hot glue to secure it to the top of the lighthouse to make it look like water. Some difficulties that we had were with the cover and the lighting. The cover was heavy and made of a thick glass, so the hot glue was not very effective. We fixed this by using both hot glue and Gorilla Glue. For the lighting, we forgot to take into account the height of the light bulb and secured it too high. The cover could not fit, so we had to take out the machine screws, drill the holes lower, and then put everything back.
The most enjoyable part of the project was being able to put everything together. It was rewarding knowing that we made this project. It all started from a bunch of wood, a PVC pipe, and a plant. It was both enjoyable and a learning process. We got to go to Home Depot and pick out items needed, such as screws, angle braces, and PVC pipes. On the other hand, we also got to go to Michael's and look for some unconventional items such as sand, toy animals, and moss. This project was a reward within itself. Completing the project brought us a sense of pride and joy to know that we made this on our own. This project was all us, and to see it completed really validated that you can do so much with so little items and money. This project was a foundation for the rest of the year. We got to learn how each other works, how to work together, and who is good at what. We also got to learn the many uses of power tools provided for us, such as the jigsaw, drill, and blade runner. We also learned how to wire a light bulb. Not many people, including us at the beginning, knew how to do this. With research and analysis, we were able to pull through and put the light in our lighthouse. Throughout the duration of this project, we were able to understand what tool is used for what task in order to complete a task without conflict. This project really got us to think outside the box. Most people think of a lighthouse as just a red and white building close to the shore. However, we, on the other hand, did not think in this way. We decided to flip the switch and make a lighthouse underwater. The task was not an easy one. We had to think underwater and not above water. This project was one of the many learning experiences we are going to obtain this year. Despite minor setbacks, we are able to pull through with the help of our teacher and each other in order to complete a task. We know better for next time what we should and should not do. We believe the Lighthouse project was a great starting point for the rest of our projects to come.